Yeah. All right. Mr. Daryl Taylor's with us this evening.
Yeah. Hey, everybody.
So, Daryl, we're back again. It's Monday night. You know what we're talking about, right?
Yeah, we're going to talk about how great Fear was, right?
Oh, no. Fear is over. Fear is what? I'm sorry to tell you. Fear is put to bed for
I
right
thought
now.
we were going to do an after show, talking about how great the season was.
No, you must have missed it. Last night there was the 100th episode of The Walking Dead, and, I don't know.
That show's back again?
The guy with the beard, the guy with the bat,
Oh, boy.
How are we going to make it without knowing if Nick is going to go off the edge now?
I know, man.
How are we going to survive?
Together. Get through it together.
There's no hope without Fear.
No, without Fear, there's no
What
hope.
about Strand? What about Strand?
Oh, man.
More blood.
See, for those of you who didn't stick with us during Fear, you don't know what you missed, all right? You just don't know. Maybe one day you'll catch up.
Yeah.
We're also joined this evening by Mr. Russell Latham.
I'm really disappointed because I busted my ass to catch up on Fear the Walking Dead, thinking I'll come back this weekend and we can get caught up and talk about all of it and the season as a whole. And now you tell me we're not talking. We're not talking.
See, you got to stay on point. You got to be up. You can't just like binge watch and catch up. You got to be on it, man. You got to catch up with us.
So you're telling me I could have waited another 8 weeks before I finished my binge?
Pretty much. Yeah.
Rest in peace, Crazy Dog, man.
But it's great, right?
Oh, Crystal made it though. He made it, right?
No, I thought you didn't make it.
They were heading north. They were heading north.
Yeah, the two Native Americans got out of there.
Yeah, they made it this time.
I didn't mean to spoil anything, sorry.
Oops.
And as you can hear, Mr. Jim Dees is with us as well. Jim.
Hey, how you doing? What is Madison up to this week? Wait, I'd like to pour a little bit out of my metaphorical 40 here for all the windows and doors that were shot in this episode of The Walking Dead.
Man, that's a lot of
I know, whoever had like the contract to make the windows for the sanctuary or whatever, I made a lot of off this episode, so a little bit for the windows.
They were taking a picture out of
Glaciers.
Yes, they did.
So guys, we did it. So 100 episodes, here we are. We got through Fear, and thank you for all of you that stuck with us through Fear.
That's right.
And for those of you that are rejoining us now, like Fear never happened, okay, it's good. We're back then. All right, here we go, guys.
Yeah. Russ.
And we're on to the actual show. 100 episodes in. There was a lot of hype about this one. I had some major expectations about this one. I think see how it kind of played out. I think it was a little bit of a letdown, but not major. What did you guys think? I mean,
I found 2 cans on the floor and it's sorry, and I was so happy about that. It was great. I loved it.
Yeah.
This is a great episode. It was hopeful.
Okay.
It was fun. Everybody connected. It was like coming back from school. Everybody like came back from vacation and everybody's catching up.
it's like summer break is over now. Now
Yeah, it's like
catching
it
up.
was
School's
so
back.
many meetups. There were so many scenes of people like getting together. There was the only thing missing was like a barbecue. Like it was just so many like nice, like everybody's talking. I like how the camera was panning around the area, and people that haven't got a chance to like groups that didn't meet yet, they got a chance to like kind of talk, and then they would focus on and go back to the leaders again. I kind of like that. Like that was a cool, build up.
I've watched this episode a couple times and then wrote my review, and the more I've been thinking about it, the more I realize I think this episode just kind of sucks. I was not a big fan of it.
Wow.
I've been trying to be like, oh, there's good here. Yeah, there is, but for the 100th episode of the show, I thought it kind of sucks. I think it's kind of a big letdown.
I mean, the ratings are kind of dipped in the last season, and then Andrew Lincoln has been very vocal in saying, the swagger and the mojo are back.
Right.
I think in an interview he said, it's his favorite season in a long time. It reminded him of the first part of the series, saying all the things the fans want to hear. And I thought this was just incredibly average for a season premiere. I was happy that a lot of stuff happened, and stuff was moving around. A lot of montage work in this episode as well.
It was a lot of setup, though. I give you that. It was a lot of setup.
A lot of setup. It was a lot of
maybe I'm just so listen. The reality might be I was just so fucking happy.
Yeah,
that it's back. That I just didn't give a damn. They could sit around, just sit at the table, just talking about how rough
the old Gabriel Church again, right? Just shooting the crap, right?
I watched the show twice. I watched the episode twice, and I was just so happy just to have them come back and everybody's back again.
My friends.
I saw Brad Milo, friend of the show, former co-host on the show. He put up a thing because he's on the East Coast. He's on a different time zone than I am, so he's on before me. He put up a thing. I try to avoid Facebook and Twitter when Walking Dead's on people talking stuff. But he put up a thing. He's like, I don't like these Walking Dead episodes trying to be clever. And I put on my harumph pants. I'm like, okay, we'll see about this, Milo. After watching the show, I'm like, no, he's right. Like, I think it's trying. It might not more than it can chew here as far as what it's going for and its editing rhythms and a lot of the setup where it's like I'm not against setup, but there's some stuff that literally doesn't pay off whatsoever. Like as far as a cohesive episode, like we'll talk about Carol, but like the thing just kind of happened and never followed up on again.
Can I ask one question? Do you think it would have been better if they did a 2-hour premiere?
Not like this. I mean, a normal one, maybe. Like, not this artsy thing. Like, I kind of wish I didn't watch The Talking Dead now because they explained away a lot of this stuff. Like Nick Taro was saying, he was paying homage to this and paying homage to that.
Yeah,
there's some Easter eggs that I think are actually pretty brilliant that we'll get to, but that doesn't make me like the episode more. It's still just
right. And then the second thing, Gimple was saying that, guys, episodes 1 through 4, they're gonna just buckle your seatbelts. So he's kind of like teasing that, that the first 4, okay, it's not just a season opener. It's gonna be a 4 episode arc where it's gonna be action. Because he hates. I know this about Gimple. I know it. He loads giving the audience kind of what they want. He loads giving them these action pieces. So when you get it from him, he kind of tells you, you're gonna get it. Here it comes. And then things are gonna change. But so it's like it's a 4 episode arc. I think this is the first act of 4 acts. Is what I think is really happening. That's why they didn't do a double episode to begin with. I think they wanted to stretch this thing out over 4 weeks. Which, to be honest with you, I think we needed an explosive 100th episode, like you guys said.
I'm not saying you're wrong. I mean, even though I did enjoy it, I would not defend it when people say it was not much of an episode. I would totally. I agree with you. It wasn't. I just was falling into the nostalgia. It cradled me into the nostalgia. It fooled me.
Let me ask you, would everybody's opinion change if this wasn't episode 100?
Or the first episode of the season, right? Like you're saying, it was episode 13, we got 4 out of 5, right? Or 5 out of 5, right?
I think my opinion on the episode wouldn't change as far as, I just watched a show that has no real kind of arc to it, just kind of sets up things and sits there and is occasionally satisfying as far as zombie action or whatnot. But I think having it be the 100th episode just makes that kind of linger more in my mind of like, wow, not only is this kind of an unsatisfying episode, it's also the 100th episode of the show. Like, okay, that doesn't seem like a drop.
And we've already had a ton of setup for them to like blow this much of this episode on even more.
I kind of had a feeling he was going to do that. Maybe I'm getting his thing.
And I agree that I'm sorry to interrupt you. Just to jump in on the points you guys are making, the whole time jump thing for me, and I realize it's kind of an homage to something from the comic or whatever, just didn't work for me.
No,
that I didn't need.
I'm with you.
We've seen it before. It's not new. We've seen it before in The Walking Dead. They've done better before in The Walking Dead. This didn't even
like
connect
when
really.
did The Walking Dead become lost? Is my question. Like when is this happening now? Like
Right,
that was weird.
I've seen the artsiness before as Walking Dead. It's like I don't tend to find it pretentious. I tend to find it overreaching, perhaps. Like this show's not at the level where it needs to be to have this kind of artistic decision going on. But this one, they didn't, because it feels like it's less about like surprising the watchers and more about interrupting what the readers of the comics kind of expect to happen. Because those of us that have read this far, I'm not gonna spoil anything. Those of us that have read this far in the books, we have an idea of what the show's trying to do with this, and it's like the show's like, well, you didn't see this version of that's coming, so here. It's an odd decision. Like I'm trying really lightly, because I mean we can't talk about if this is a real thing, if this is a dream, or what's going on. But there's there is something that will happen that will make this make sense, obviously, because it's just show's just hinting at something out there. Right. Like we know where that's going to be, but it's like, well, was that entirely necessary? Or is it just to kind of with the people that read the book? Like I don't know.
So for me, what made it worse was the double flashback, or if they would have just done a bookend, right? Like at the very beginning, show Old Man Rick, and at the end they want to do their thing. I would have been fine with that. But interspersing it with the weird red-eyed Rick with the prism thing, like I was that to me was too much. Like that's my biggest complaint about the episode. I think I have a very different opinion than you guys. I think I like this a lot more than you guys did, but that part just kind of baffled me, because it's like if you want to do a flash forward, a flashback, or flash sideways, or whatever it is you want to do, then do one and that's fine. But to layer another one in there just seemed like one, confusing, but two, excessive.
Like three, wasn't there? Because then we went back to the speech again at the end.
Speech kept happening, which is like
it's like a third time.
You can't be Lost and a Terrence Malick film at the same time. It just doesn't make any sense to me.
Wow.
Yeah, when they threw the speech at the end, I was like, wow. make any
There was
sense.
4 speeches. There was 4
Which was the same problem I had with the finale of last season, where Maggie's giving the whole speech. I'm like, I don't care, like what you're saying. It's just not adding up.
Lynn made the decision.
It was just so cliche, right? It's like this Independence Day level.
But she's pregnant, man. She's pregnant. She's supposed to speechify.
Speechify. Speechify a lot of comics too.
We'll get into it. We'll get into it. I did like the kind of the three-way speech they're doing. It's like as if they rehearsed it. Where like Rick's like, I'm going to say a few words here, and I'm Ezekiel who says words of majesty, and then Maggie talks.
Yeah, I'm gonna pass it on. There was a dumb
But
move.
Beastie Boys are The Walking Dead.
Yeah, there was a.
Well, it's funny to say that.
Funny.
The 6th episode of the season, all the names have come out of the episodes. I hope this doesn't spoil it for anybody. Sorry, Jerry. The 6th name of the episode, 6th episode name is called The King, The Widow, and Rick. That's the name of the episode on episode 6. So there you go. They're right there. Standing up, making their speech.
The fourth one's called Carl dies, so I mean that's
It seemed very. I mean, Gabriel makes such a dumb choice. That's the thing. Also,
Yeah, that made zero sense.
that was not the Gabriel that you built up. Last season.
I thought he was going to shoot him. I thought he was shooting the windshield. That's what I was
That's
right?
what he built up. He would not do what he did. That's not what you built.
It's like a Hail Mary, motherfucker. This boat's
That's
coming
right.
for you, right?
That's right. That's what he would have did. And yell, "This is for Maggie" or something. Like
The Lord is with thee.
the Lord is with thee. Right. Exactly. It did not make sense. But I know they wanted to put him in a situation where we're worried. Right. But it just was. You could have made a better choice in putting him in that. How he got to that situation.
Well, we'll get to it in a minute. I'm going to start reading. I got the whole synopsis right off the AMC website. So again, if I miss anything, please let me know. It's pretty dry stuff, but it'll do the job. Let's see here. Light plays across Rick's face. Rick stands at the hilltop graves, lost in thought. So again, flashing between his different scenes here, his flashbacks. Residents of Alexandria Hilltop and the Kingdom prepare for battle. At the sanctuary, a crossbow bolt pierces Dwight's motorcycle tire. He unrolls the note that's attached. It reads, "Tomorrow." Carol and Tara stand watching a bridge. She's chewing some Twizzler or something there. Tara checks the time. They spot a herd of walkers in the distance and smile.
This stuff is working for. Like this stuff is like, all right, we're like doing like a Michael Mann type thing. Here. Exactly.
I like the pairing of Tara and Carol too. I think those characters make sense together.
And she was cute. She's like, "Oh, close enough. Whatever." Like, they didn't come exactly at the second when she.
Right.
Whatever, close enough. She's all right. Rick gives a rousing speech to the United Communities, reminding them that they're fighting for their futures, for a bigger world. He vows to stop the saviors and kill just one man. Doesn't say Negan. He just says one man has to go. Maggie and Ezekiel echo Rick's sentiments. Dwight writes a response, secures a note to the bolt, and shoots it back towards Daryl, waiting outside the sanctuary.
Making it the coolest thing that Dwight has ever done on the show.
It's a pretty good name for him.
Yeah, it was.
He's missed a lot of things over the past few seasons. Carol and Tara sit on the bridge and wait as the herd walkers move along the road below. Now we go to Rick sleeping in his bed. We see that kind of like foggy, hazy. You know something's a little different here. You're in some kind of flashback or a different world. His beard is full and white. Flowers sit on a nearby table. We also see a cane. His cane leaning against the door jamb.
We see a cane. We don't know it's his cane. Yes.
Cane. Later come to find out it's his cane. We hear music. I think it's Weird Al Yankovic.
No, it's
yeah.
No One Rides the Bus. Yeah.
Okay, yes. Pretty interesting choice there. Hearing music, he wakes. Carl searches the gas station for fuel, and this is one of these artsy things where they had to take a lot of time to go frame by frame and match it to Darabont's first episode, right? I mean, I know
You said the secret word. Hold on. Hey, Darabont.
Is that what prize for saying that?
I guess so. Yeah.
No, but you might get a sip.
I was just going to say, I'm making trouble.
But I mean, they shot it exactly like almost just like the in fact, it was a thing on YouTube where they put it frame by frame to the original, and it was almost identical. He comes across a stranger who asks for help. Kind of. He's talking to himself, but also to Carl. It seems like, I don't know, it's kind of a weird thing. Carl raises his gun, but the man insists he just wants food. As Carl is considering his request, Rick appears and chases the man away with a gunshot above his head, supposedly above his head.
Rick repeats the line. I shot above his head, Coral. Like he says that over and over again.
He did.
Like, I'm so cool. I shot above his head.
I'm not a crazy killer, Coral.
Coral.
Not today.
I did pick up on the as far as it being like the 100th episode and the kind of Easter, because we'll talk about this, I guess, when we get to like talking to stuff. But like they talk a lot about like the different things they're doing to make this echo past moments of the show. And this scene I did pick up a lot on it being like a repeat of the first scene of the series. It's still really random. It's like, let's have this scene of Carl and Rick bonding over not killing a guy and being good people or something. But
It's like when the writing room says, okay, we'll make a scene where Carl goes to a gas station. It'd be pretty cool if Nicotero can frame, shoot it frame for frame like it was the original. Like, it makes no sense. They just stuck it in there for the sake of sticking it in there. They did absolutely nothing to drive the story. Like, did he really need gas at that point? Was he out of fuel? I mean, I don't know. It didn't make sense.
Well, I took it as they were just on fuel runs because they had all those vehicles that they needed. So they had to get as much gas as they could, make sure that they could get there and get back.
Yeah.
That's what
I mean, logically, I understand the point. Why a character would do this thing. That makes sense to me. It's just why is this in this episode beyond it being the 100th episode? That's kind of where I was stumbling around with. It was like, okay, have a nice little Carl moment. That's nice, I guess. And
Yeah, but he's gonna get annoying with that. He's gonna get annoying with that hope thing, where trying to save that dude or whatever it is they're trying to build or whatever.
Yeah, he's next Glenn, huh? Is that,
Yeah, it's kind of like, because I get what your father's saying. Like, we've already been infiltrated and betrayed countless times already. Like recently, like last week, they turned on us last week, right?
But
like, yeah, so it's like he's not, talking out of school or anything. Like, he's not saying something crazy to not trust this guy that you don't even know. Like, you got to be careful. You do have to be careful with that.
So Daryl Morgan.
I'm sorry. I really hate Carl's line here. There's not going to be enough, Dad. Enough what? Hope.
Yeah,
I
wanted him to say, Carl, shut up.
What happened to the crazy killer Carl? Like, when he just shot people for no reason? Like,
that's been kind of the. And I think I mentioned this before. Chandler Riggs is not a very good actor, and I think they've really vacillate between what they want Carl to be. Like, is he like a badass that's more pragmatic than his father, or is he a guy that really hopes things are going to work out? Like, it doesn't really want to decide on Carl, so it just kind of gives you random. That's why this moment doesn't really register. He's like, okay, there's a random pop of Carl, and once again, he's not really a character. He's more of the writers need him to say this thing, so Rick has a thing in his head. Like, that's just what it sticks out as.
Yeah.
That said, there is the zombie girl that Rick finds like later, like in the same scene. That's the same girl that he shoots in the face in the first episode. They brought her back to be a zombie.
Wait, is that real? Are you serious?
Yeah, they cast her back when she was, she's older.
She's older.
They cast her as the girl, as a zombie.
Which was interesting. I mean, it goes in that scene. People forget it kind of goes against zombie logic, the original show, where she stops and picks up the doll. Like, zombies don't do that, right? But it was cute for that first scene. We didn't know any better at that point, right? But yeah, I had no idea that was her. That's pretty cool.
There's another great cameo coming up. We'll get to it.
Oh, let's go. Daryl and Morgan kill saviors at various lookout points, and I want to stop right there. I mean, Morgan is he's a killing machine right now. But look at his face. His face every time he kills, it's like he's just dying inside. Like he's doing it, but he just looks like he doesn't want to be doing it. Like he's just.
Well, Morgan, how much force it takes to put a staff through someone's chest?
Oh my god,
a lot.
How much? How much?
I mean, when you see like for instance in hashtag Red Machete, I mean the zombies like get cut and their heads are like pinatas and they're like made out of straw, but like he did this to like a real life living person. You know what I mean? And like you can get away with saying, oh, decay, they're all run away, but like it takes a lot of force. It's a really brutal thing. Just fitting in with that character and everything he's been through, it just like kind of blew my mind.
What I did notice is that Morgan didn't have his jar with him because he's out of to give.
Yeah, I guess so, man. Yeah, there was field wise fellow. Before you have some more.
I'm sorry, Craig. You're gonna have to add a lot of edits on this episode.
I only got 5 so far. That's so bad. One by one, they cross the targets off a list supplied by Dwight. This was actually pretty cool. The intel, from Dwight. That's what he gave him. I guess we didn't really see that conversation in the jail cell. We didn't know what he gave Rick's group, so I guess he gave him all the forward lookouts of the sanctuary. So that's pretty neat. And Alexandria and Rick and other community members mobilized for an attack on the sanctuary. Daryl joins Carol, Tara, and Morgan on the highway. Rick leaves Alexandria with a caravan of vehicles that had been retrofitted for the battle. I like this retrofit. They just put corrugated steel, pretty much welded it everywhere they could. On the, it was a pretty,
I like it
pretty badass kind of Thunderdome type of thing. I liked it though. I was all over it. I'm like, all right, do what you gotta do, man. That's it.
All this stuff is great. I agree with this. Like, I like all. Besides the random fast, but even flash forwards, I'm kind of looking like, well, they're trying something. We'll see where it goes. Doesn't go anywhere. But like for the most part, I'm taking like, okay, this is good. I like this. I like the cross cutting. When people don't talk too much, that tends to entertain me on the show because they're not that great at talking. So it works.
Rosita watches from her porch, showing Carl stay behind.
Very angrily, she watches reports.
So I guess in real life, well, she gave birth in real life, so she needed her episode off. But was she injured or something? I forget now. Why was she staying behind? I don't even get that.
I think they still mad at her for that dumb move she did.
She's trying to take out Negan. She's still in the doghouse trying to kill Negan.
I think she's still in the doghouse.
I think it's that, and she's probably not as. I think she's very much included with the plan, or she has some kind of objection to it.
I thought she was stricken by a case of dramatic convenience.
Oh, I saw that on her forehead. It was great. You're right.
Because I know Michonne got pretty roughed up in the last episode of the last season. She got
jacked up. Yeah, she got jacked up.
So I can see her healing up a little bit and Carl staying behind. And she made a little thing to Carl. Says like, look, this is your. She said, I'll help you protect this place. And he's like, you'll help me. Like, and she goes, yep, you're in charge now. Like, where did that came from? Where did that come from? Is that,
I don't know.
They're trying to push Carl up a notch or two. Is that what they're doing?
Yeah, they are.
As they watch the procession of vehicles, Michonne tells Carl this is a show. Like I said, Alexandria's safety is in his hands. En route to the sanctuary, Rick comes across a lone savior on watch. He stabs the man and sifts through his belongings. The injured savior taunts Rick. And this is actually pretty cool. You don't really see him. You just hear him talking off screen. Like, you just see Rick's face. And he's like, I remember you, man. You were crying. You were sobbing. You told Negan you were his. You're going to pay for this, man. Well, that was not a good idea because Rick then chops the tether holding the walker on the electrical post and leaves it to feast on the dying man.
I did like that he didn't speak through that whole ordeal.
He didn't go, shut up.
No, right? I really appreciated the fact that he was unfazed by what this guy was saying.
Yeah, he was focused. Yeah, he was totally focused. It's not about me. I think that's because he kept throwing in that mantra. It's not about me. It's not about me. And I think that was like supposed to hit home that the other Rick would have taken it personal, right? He would have got upset. He would have said something. But this Rick kind of, he's focused. This is not, we got something we got to get done for the future of the group.
Guys, do you know who that tethered zombie was?
No. Who was it?
It's Buster. It's the original Buster.
No way.
Yes.
No way.
That's totally different. He lost his suit.
It's not supposed to be that zombie, but it's the same actor that played Buster.
Right.
Wow.
Nice.
No way. Oh, wow. We missed good old Buster in his suit there in the city, right? Wow.
And Rick didn't talk to his whole scene because he was saving a speechifying.
There's a lot of
scenes down the road. Yeah.
He's trying to figure out which time frame he was in, right? He didn't know.
Right.
Wow. How'd you know that? Because he was on The Talking Dead too. I must have missed that part of it. I must have fast forwarded through that, like the behind the scenes stuff.
I was just reading a lot of the notes and the various articles I read about this episode.
Okay.
But it's Buster. He's back.
That's very cool. The caravan arrives in a large field where members of all the 3 communities are waiting. Maggie insists on joining the initial phase of the fight despite being pregnant. Ezekiel offers to let Maggie see the kingdom's doctor, but Jesus assures him that they'll retrieve Dr. Carson, who was previously taken by the Saviors. Rick vows to relinquish leadership and follow Maggie after the fight is over. After this, I'm going to follow you. That's it. I love it. And we saw this in the previews and sneak peeks and stuff, so this scene's not exactly new, but it was still good to watch again. Carol, Daryl, Morgan, and Tara wait on the highway until the herd arrives. They vacate the road in haste. Moments later, the SUV they parked on the exit ramp explodes.
I do like the little time thing, right? Yeah. Is that when she thought she timed it just right?
Yeah, that's when she.
I love her little comments. I do. Yeah. I love her little one-liners throughout the episode, which I was liking it from last season too. So it just continued.
And she's pretty real to the actress in Masterson. She's like, dude, I was supposed to be around like 2 episodes. Like she knew it.
Yeah,
apparently I did something that they liked and they kept me around. Like she talks like that. She's pretty much right. Like it was.
She's not in those first 2 episodes.
Dwight dispatches a large team of saviors to investigate the explosion. Daryl and Morgan rig a tripwire across a road. They join Carol and Tara on a pedestrian overpass. Rick's group guns down 2 sniper lookouts at the sanctuary. The caravan arrives at the front gate, parking in formation to create a wall with the metal sheets retrofitted onto each vehicle. Maggie gives a signal and the group raises their guns toward the sky, shooting in unison. Negan steps out with his lieutenants.
Yeah, this is where things should get interesting.
So this is where part of me was like, why wouldn't you just shoot him in the head and be done with it? They make a point of, and I know the answer to my question, but I'm still going to ask.
Yeah,
But he makes a point of saying this is all one man. This is all one man. We got to get this one man. Right. And it's like you could have killed him right then and there.
I would have killed them all.
Right. I mean, yeah, he could have obviously killed them all.
Threw grenades.
Right. But I mean, obviously, if it was all about Negan, he could have just capped him right there.
Wiped them out.
Fire a rocket right there. Who cares? Something. I mean, just take him out.
This whole sequence gets me back to the show being convenient. Like when somebody needs to take a 22 pistol from 300 yards and shoot a walker in the head because it's chasing them, they make it with extreme accuracy. But yet when they're 17 feet away from somebody with an automatic machine gun, they can't seem to hit of a barn. So it's stuff like that. Just like after a while, it's like, okay, it's just like when you need them to make the headshot, they make the headshot, and when you just need them to like hit him in the gut or the leg or something, nobody can hit anybody.
There's more of this coming to the scene because this is a long scene of nobody doing anything to stop what we came to do. But I want to say at least one thing about the build up to this. I do like that in other episodes of the show would like really draw this out as far as like we got to spend 90 minutes planning this and then we'll go. This episode's like down to business. It's like, all right, we got everything under control. Greg Nicotero's like, I'm going to cross cut between all these people that already have their things in mind. We're going to go in media res essentially and just get things moving. And it does. Like they get to Negan's compound in the first 20 minutes of this episode. It's like, okay, at least that happened. At least I'm not waiting like it's a 90-minute premiere and like the first 75 minutes of them talking about going to see Negan. Like this is like, let's get there. I'm not happy with how things play out from here, but it gets going pretty well early on.
That's like one of the only things I really did like about this episode that stuck out for me is that a lot of stuff actually happened.
Yeah, the chess pieces move more than just a couple points.
The only question I had, and strategically, I mean, Rick's group had a really good strategy to wage this first segment of war against Negan, but why do you waste all those bullets? I mean, what's the point?
All right, I was about to ask that too, yeah.
Like, they were so tight with the zombie herd and everything else, like, they're just shooting in the air and shooting those windows, like...
Well, at least they have a guy that makes bullets, but oh wait, he's on the other team.
Exactly, right. All right, so let's go on. Light plays across Rick's face, so again, we're seeing that with his little red eyes there. He looks up at the stained glass window, so we can see that's causing that light to shimmer across his face. Then we cut to a white-bearded Rick, who then gets out of bed and finds Michonne in the dining room of their Alexandria home. He walks over to her with his cane, and Carl joins him.
And let me say, black don't crack, and they show that in the scene.
And that's what she said.
She looks the same exact
age
as she does. Yeah, but Rick looks like Judith looks like she's about 3, 4.
Judith looks like she's about to go to like advanced second grade.
No,
3, 4 years have passed for her. It looks like.
Yeah, Judith is like 6, and she's like 2 years old now in the show, so it's 4 years.
Yeah, but Rick looks like he's 8.
About 4 years there, man.
He looks like he's about
Santa Claus,
right? Like Moses over here.
Yeah, like Moses, right? I was thinking that. He came off the mountain, right? These 15 commandments. Oh, it's a different movie. I'm sorry, wait a second.
Almost.
These 10 commandments. Rick tells Negan's lieutenants, Dwight, Simon, Gavin, Regina, and Eugene, that he will let them live if they surrender. But the deal is only good now. That's it. He's given an ultimatum. However, no one accepts his offer.
Wait. He forgets the name of Regina, which is funny. He's like,
he does.
what's her... You. Regina.
You on the left. What's your name?
And I like how he tells you, you're not going to do a little speech. We're not going to let you do that talking that you do.
Shut him down. Exactly. You're not talking about the microphone anymore, right?
What do you think Eugene's doing at that point? Like, where's his frame of mind at? Because I've been very curious about the Eugene.
Embarrassment.
He's living high on the hog, man.
But I think it's embarrassment.
He's playing Yar's Revenge.
Yar's Revenge.
He likes it. I mean, and you can tell he's embarrassed only because they see him liking it. Like, he's a part of it. He can't fake allegiances or anything. Like, he can't say that I'm only doing this so that he doesn't kill me type thing. Like, they caught him. Like, he had to just...
He's in too deep.
He's in too deep. He just had to accept it that you're part of this. You're contributing to this whole thing. So, you're caught.
The group on the overpass spots a walker nearing the tripwire. Then we cut back to the sanctuary. Negan tells Rick that he lacks the numbers to win a fight against the Saviors. And Negan's command, Simon brings Gregory outside. And Gregory declares that the hilltop stands with Negan. And the punishment for fighting against the sanctuary is banishment for the offenders and their families. But Jesus shouts, the hilltop stands with Maggie.
This scene it's so troubling for 2 reasons. The first is that Xander Berkeley is so great on the show, and Gregory is one of my favorite characters, that it's hard for me to dislike what's going on. But my main issue is Negan, who... Like, we're supposed to be terrified of Negan, and he's talking all, he's talking up, so he does his Negan thing, right? He's supposed to be intimidated. You're supposed to be in fear. You're supposed to be in fear of this guy. Like, that's how it ends. Like, so the second, like, I'm thinking, okay, Rick got up to this point really easily, and he can easily shoot Negan. So clearly there must be some play that Negan's going at if he's going to walk out in broad daylight and just stand and talk to Rick. And he starts, he builds that up. He's like, well, I got something in store for you. Apparently he's John Wayne now. Well, I got something in store for you, and you're not going to know what it is. And it's like, okay, what's he got? Like, are all the Saviors going to come up behind him? Are the trash people going to come up from the ground and grab him by the legs? Like, oh, like, all these things are running through my mind of, like, what's possibly going to happen. And it's like, here's the weasel guy that has no control over anything. Like, that was Negan's plan. But it's just like, the Saviors are so inconsistent. Like, last season, they're like these scheming guys that can come out, like, whistle in the bushes and trap Rick.
They were everywhere.
Drag him into the fog and have this whole elaborate scenario and nearly chop up.
And knew his people, like knew how to make alliances with people behind his back.
Or the double crosses. This season's like, or this episode, Negan just like is an idiot. Like all his guys, all his watchtowers getting ambushed. He's stepping out right outside, right in front of everybody where he get easily shot, and he has no plan except here's one guy that's going to say something, and the entire community that's not all there is going to apparently listen to him and just hang out.
Well, you know what? I really think that they felt they had to have the confrontation because probably it was the returning episode and it wasn't 100. They felt like they needed to have Negan in it and be confronted. But I think it was a mistake to have them even reach Negan yet.
Because they shouldn't have reached the barrier and he'd be inside hiding or something.
Yeah, I remember last season I said the one thing I worry about with knowing that Negan's going to be on the show for quite a long time is if they keep doing the thing where they get close to Negan and he gets away. He gets close to Negan and he gets away.
Yeah,
so every time you do it, right? Every time you do that, you make when they almost win like that, you make Negan weaker when you do that. You gotta earn that fight with Negan. It should be hard. Like that battle should be like to the point where everything's spent when you finally get to Negan. But the point is they kind of want to use Negan. Like that's the problem. Like they feel like they want to keep Negan on these episodes, but at the same time they want to have they want him to reach Negan and at least have some kind of confrontation with Negan. And I think that they should have waited with that.
It's problematic because exactly what you're saying, Daryl, where it's like I want to be intimidated by Negan. I know I've been very vocal about how Negan does nothing for me. As much as I like Jeffrey D. Morgan, it's not much of a character. He's just kind of like I like the one they use him less, or they use him in different ways. Like when he went to Alexandria, just hung out for the day and made spaghetti and all that.
That's cool.
That's a side of Negan I like seeing. That's something different for me. When he's just going to talk big, which is understandably a big part of the character, it needs to have some kind of repercussion to it. Like he has to actually deal out some sort of punishment or something. But this episode, like it's the premiere, and so it like wants to set up the pieces and remind everybody where everybody's at and whatnot. It's like, well, you can't play dumb with us while also being artsy with these flashbacks and flash forwards and whatnot. You can't do both things. You can't like have the confidence to do this kind of abstract filmmaking, but also play very dumb with, well, Gregory's here. Here's a reminder. Also, Negan says things sometimes. Here's a reminder of that. And these people are good and these people are bad. Like it's going all over the place. And it's just that doesn't help me. That doesn't help me like this episode.
So Simon pushes Gregory down the stairs after deciding he's no longer useful. And he kind of yells at him like, "You told me you were in charge and you're useless." He just throws him down the stairs, which actually was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was.
On the road, the Savior caravan trips the wire and sets off an explosion. Morgan had to save the day there by taking out a zombie, but did a good job.
Good scene.
The explosion started the sanctuary. Rick tells Negan's lieutenants to make up their minds. He begins firing when they don't respond. He starts counting from 10, right? You make me count. And he goes, 10, 9, 8, 7, and then just starts shooting at 7.
He goes 6. Yeah, he starts unloading, which is one of those like great commercial cuts that leads to absolutely nothing when you come back from commercials.
But hold on a second. It led to something very important. There was a very important commercial break, actually, right about this time. Folks, buckle your seatbelts. This is unexpected. We are now in a new mini web series that Aaron is going to bring to you every week called #Red Machete. Aaron, would you please take it away? No sponsor though.
Yeah,
no
sponsor.
sponsor.
This is Red Machete Part 1.
Part 1.
So they only played like 30 seconds of it on this. You have to go to the Walking Dead site, and I posted on the Facebook page. It's like a full like 3-minute video or something like that. And this is apparently the idea of this is to track the story of Rick's red machete that he had from where it came from to I guess where it's going to end up. It's a 4-part. There are 4 or 5 parts.
Garrett's eyeball, which is going to end up.
Yeah, right. It's like 4 or 5 parts, I believe. And I was so shocked because I didn't get to take notes on it. It's like this little scrawny guy comes in. He's picking up his machete. It's still like in its packaging, and then like a big old zombie comes out, like a big guy, and he like struggles to get the machete, and he like tries and fails to beat kill the big zombie guy. Drops the machete on the ground. And I think that's where it stops in the on TV. On the show, it shows a continuation where another guy comes up, and like his family's there, and he picks up the machete, and he bites the guy, he kills him, and then like all these others, he like kills him with the machete, he like gets up that machete because the machete, you're gonna knock over some zombie brains of that. Then like he and his family are like running around to get out of the store that they're in, like the hardware store, and they're like an alley, and zombies are chasing after the pop. That's like going like a haunted house maze or something. Zombies are everywhere, and the guy he like kicks a zombie out of the way. The wife's right behind him, and the daughter's behind him, but the daughter gets grabbed by a zombie, and she gets eaten by the zombies, and she's gone. It's sad, but then you get like a glimpse of like her cut, like she gets grabbed by the hair, and that's the problem. So then you see glimpses of the machete cutting the hair to be like lesson learned, like don't have long hair in the zombie apocalypse.
Okay.
It was exciting stuff.
So that was the extended version. I only saw the first 30 seconds. I didn't watch the whole YouTube version afterwards. So you got the full coverage there, guys. Wow.
I was confused that the little girl got eaten, but then the little girl's getting her haircut afterwards.
Yeah, I wasn't quite sure either, Jim. Honestly, I wasn't sure if it was like a flash forward to what could happen with this girl or a lesson as to I don't know.
The little montage scene where they show the cam goods like fading away over time, like in time lapse thing. They had the scene where he cleanly splits the zombie's head from top to bottom, as if he were cutting like a cassava melon. Yeah, I don't know, I thought it's worth checking out on YouTube, I guess. But.
Are they going to do one each episode? They usually do like 462 and like #passage. Is that what they're going to do? Or this was special? Okay.
Well, as I said, it's either 4 or 5 parts, so that doesn't quite. If it's 4 parts, I would assume it's probably 2 weeks. That would probably make the most sense.
Gotcha. Okay. So they started on the show, and you can continue watching on AMC.com. That's how they're doing it, right? Okay.
Yeah, which I posted the link on the Facebook page if you want to check it out.
So there's no sponsor. So we used to saying #something like Live Moss or #something else, and the Uncarrier, right?
Home Depot for Red Machete.
Ace Hardware though. It's a local hardware store, right? So,
Ace Hardware.
Red Machete.
So I haven't seen Rick wield that though in a while. I remember last time he used it was with Gareth, right, and just tore it to pieces from Terminus. I don't really remember him still having it or using it a long time. Do you guys remember that? I mean, he had it coming into Alexandria, but I don't know.
Not really.
Maybe
He's now in the Hatchet mode. He's in the Hatchet mode.
Yeah, it's
right.
been so long.
Maybe he left it there, and that's going to be part of the story.
Rick only cares about 4 things in his life: his Python, Coral, Judith, and Michonne. So I mean, the rest of everything's up for grabs.
Great. Thank you, Aaron. That was awesome. Awesome recap. Riveting. So Negan's crew runs for cover in different directions. Rick's crew continues firing, blowing out the sanctuary windows. Again, that was the money shot, I guess, right? Blowing out all those 10 stories of windows. The herd approaches, drawn by the explosion. This is where the strategy finally comes to fruition. Morgan and Tara get in the car, preparing to leave. Carol urges Daryl to be careful. A little hug there. Rick's group continues to spray bullets to the sanctuary, then retreats to their cars for evacuation. So they're on a clock, like you said. It's kind of like, everything is planned to the minute. They knew when that herd was going to be approaching, and they had to go. Rick, we have to go. We got to go. They even plowed down the chain link, kind of like the governor did a little bit back at the prison.
We did not talk about the herd, where Daryl's like, doing his cool thing of like I'm shooting gas cans while I'm motorcycle, like it's a preview for AMC's Ride.
Yeah, pretty much.
But that zombie herd. They're a really fast zombie herd, it seems like, aren't they? They really kept keeping up with the guy on the motorcycle.
Well, I mean, it was timed. I think they were watching the fire, right? The fire's what was kind of keeping them going in the right direction. But I know what you're saying. He was riding full speed, right? He wasn't like jumping wrong.
I mean, cut back to like 2 seasons ago. Remember, like Daryl had to like ride like 5 miles an hour just to keep the zombie horde to keep coming after him. This episode, it took like 5 minutes. Like, that's it. The whole horde.
So Daryl shoots a succession of explosive barrels while riding his motorcycle, guiding the herd. Gabriel positions the RV in front of the sanctuary fence and then exits it as it slowly continues to move forward. It's funny, he actually jumps out the back window. It's kind of funny. Rick uses an instant camera to snap a picture of the scene, which I didn't get that exactly. Maybe just like for intelligence to see what they over there.
He gave a little wink and a smile. Like he saw, because he was shooting at Negan, who was trapped behind a piece of metal. For some reason, Negan was the one guy that had to get out of the base and duck behind sheet metal while being shot at. It was very confusing. But he did this, and Rick was trying to shoot at him. And then Gabriel's like, "It's not about you," and he takes it away. But before that, Rick pulls out his camera. He's like, he was leaving. He takes a snapshot and smiles. I think it's like Negan's in some kind of like embarrassing position. He just wants to keep talking about it or something.
Yeah, it definitely was.
It's Memento. Yeah.
It seemed weird.
I thought it was weird. It was like into playing the next like phase 2 of the battle. Like, okay, this is what they're left with, and that's what I thought. But
it'll pay off. Like, I mean, that's not gonna go away. We'll just have to wait to see.
That's the thing, though. Like when you show him embarrassed like that, Negan already, it's like it really does weaken that character. It's like what is. I mean, are they going to do Empire Strikes Back type of?
Yeah, wait till you get that photo up on zombie Instagram. Everybody's going to see it.
Like they're going to get that moment.
Instagram.
I wonder if they're going to do that moment where they're going to hit hard back. They're going to get them back again, and then then Rick will be in doubt.
Oh yeah, it's just
hope.
Yeah.
Let's have hope. Like Carl said, let's have hope. Rick leaves as the herd closes in on the sanctuary. Gabriel gets in the car, ready to follow suit. Just then he sees Gregory crying for help and runs to his aid. Again, this is what we're talking about
earlier. This is what I don't get. This does not happen.
Gabriel, he does make stupid decisions.
Gabriel, not anymore.
But they're usually selfish decisions. They're not like
Gabriel.
This is consistent with Gabriel. He's still a man of God. Like he's maybe
a man of God, but now Gabriel's kind of been at almost like they put him in a position to be the mystical one of the group, almost. Say these magic little things that Rick needs to hear at the right time, but.
Yeah, that's what you're saying.
Not Gregory. Not helping Gregory. I don't see him doing that.
I see it with Gabriel. If it was a different character, I could agree with you. Yes. Gabriel, I get it. Gabriel, I get it. It's like he sees a guy who's in need, regardless of him being a giant asshole. It's like, I get that. Yeah, exactly. He can relate to his own arc. As far as
if you put one of them, I would see it. I would feel better with that scene if you put maybe one of the other group members in jeopardy. Like one of the others got caught.
Oh, the Saviors?
No, not the Saviors. I'm talking about their team. When somebody from their group gets caught and everybody has to go, he would go back and help that group. But for Gregory, I don't know.
Gregory hasn't really done anything wrong to anybody. Yeah, he hasn't killed anybody. He's sided with the guy who has the bigger gun.
Yeah, but it's
he can joke himself in the show. Sorry.
Yeah, exactly.
But because I would talk about this with Gregory a lot. I like Gregory because he like sits in the middle. Like he's a guy. He's much like Eugene, except he's just not caught in the same situation. Where
he's out of the middle now, though.
He's out of the middle. Well, he's chosen a side, but like I see why he's chosen. Since it's not it's not like he's trying to purposely kill Rick or anything. It's more of I'm trying to choose a side that I get to live on and I can still like lead as. Like I'm not arguing that he's a good person, but it makes sense what he's doing from his perspective. I can see why. But he's also not. He's not Simon. He's not sadistic and killing people. He hasn't done anything that's arguably worth dying over. He just made a choice in the situation between two people that want to kill each other. It's like all right, if Gabriel, a person who's also in between things as far as being a coward versus now being on the side of good, he can relate to that. He can relate to, like, here's a guy that's struggling to live. I'm gonna go rescue that guy.
I thought Gabriel was the most badass in that episode where they raided that satellite tower. He was like he was saying prayers as he assassinated the guy. That's the Gabriel I want. WWE version of Gabriel. That's what I want.
I don't think
it went away. I don't think that went away.
I thought it did. I thought he kind of shed that skin.
His house has many mansions. My father's house is prepared for you. Blows him away. I'm like, that's what I want, man. That's what I want to go. I want to go to that character. But I know you're right.
It's more badass than getting out of a truck, mowing down some zombies, and takes rescuing a guy before getting back in that truck.
That's what shooting him through the windshield. That's what I would have done. Put a bullet right through
the windshield. Mercy on your soul, son.
You just becomes Jules in Pulp Fiction.
That's what he needs to be. That's who he needs to be. Exactly. So Gregory is scared that the bullets are coming upon them, both him and Father Gabriel. He just starts to get up and he maneuvers his way to Gabriel's car and drives off, abandoning Gabriel. He's like, wait, stop.
That's what he does.
Oh, God.
Fool me once, shame on you.
He would stand behind a pregnant person not to get shot. That's what he would do.
Carl returns to the gas station and leaves 2 cans of food with a note, sorry. The mysterious man watches him from the bushes.
Yeah.
Rick's group waits for Gabriel at their rendezvous point. Rick tells Daryl that Gabriel stayed behind to save him, but they can't wait for him any longer. Daryl signals the group to get back in their vehicles. They prepare to enact the next phase of their plan.
I know. It was almost like Gabriel brought me back. You know, like you were saying, Gabriel brought me back when I was going after Negan. He brought me out of it. Right. And it was like, oh, well, we got to go. Like, I thought they were going to, like, send somebody for him or whatever. They're just like,
man's too big. Man's too big. A small group stands outside the fence of a Savior satellite station, which we saw the station before. This is one that they raided and totally destroyed before. At least they killed everyone that's in it. Morgan asks Diane if she'll be able to hit the guards through the fence using her arrows, but she expresses doubt. So apparently there was some extra defenses put in since the last time they were there. It was I guess a double fence, and there was a lot of zombies in there acting as guards. But I don't know, when they scouted that, every other piece of this plan was meticulously scouted. Didn't they know that they'd have more zombies at this place? I don't really know where that came in, but
I don't know. But Daryl could do it.
Yeah, that's true. At a second Savior outpost, Daryl and Rick shoot a guard at an office complex and enter the front gate. Carol and Ezekiel lead a group towards a third Savior outpost. They gun down the Saviors outside the industrial building. Walkers continue to flood into the sanctuary. Gabriel takes cover inside a trailer.
Wait, we got back up. The whole Carol and work because a Savior comes out, like throws like a smoke grenade at him because then it transitions to that last scene. But so we just kind of leave that there. Like that's a bit where it's
away.
Yeah, that was a wasted scene.
Yeah, because it's like you're not showing us anything. It's just setup stuff. And it's like, understandably, when you're reviewing TV, we're talking about it like on a podcast, you have to think of the bigger picture. But it's like you can also got to tell the whole story. It just feels like it doesn't do that here. That's a lot of my issue with this episode. It just kind of throws things at you without wrap. Like even last year's premiere, which I wasn't a fan of, it feels like a whole complete circle as far as what Negan did, the bad things that happened, where Rick and the gang are left at. Like it felt like that's an arc there, and that just may fly for like a random episode during the season. But this is the season premiere of the 100th episode. It's like, why do we have lingering strands all over the place? I don't really get it.
Right.
You said strands? We're talking about Fear again?
Yeah, we're talking about Fear. Yeah, Fear the Walking Dead this week. They love the damn.
We're going to torture the fans. Didn't stay with us. Carol and Ezekiel lead the group towards the third Savior outpost. Like you said, they gun down the Saviors. Walkers continue to flood into the sanctuary. So we see that the plans finally come to fruition. They knocked down this fence. They blew up the RV. They did all these things so that entire horde could just take over the sanctuary, which actually is a pretty. I mean, we've seen this kind of strategy before, but I don't think to the scale. This is a pretty big herd. They took it from a long way away and they guided it all the way to the sanctuary. So that was a pretty good strategy there. Using the walkers as weapons. Again, it's not new, but it's still pretty cool to see it. Gabriel takes cover inside the trailer only to find it already occupied by Negan. And he says, "Are you wearing your pants?" And Gabriel's like, "What? What? Excuse me?"
Right. First of all, the whole concept of having pants that you're allowed to shit in does not fly with me. Second of all, wasn't this the clip we saw out of context? I think
it sure was.
Yeah,
like they already shot the load already. Like, right? I thought this was something they were gonna, this would come up like in the middle of the season or something. Like it's already like.
It was the first episode. They already did it. Yeah.
And he got the gun. Like, why would he be shitting?
That's actually true. You could have shot him right there.
I got the gun. Like, listen, man, I got the gun.
I didn't know if he was saying that because they were surrounded by a bajillion zombies, and that, like, I took it as not him saying that because he was in there with Negan, but because they were about to be completely surrounded and probably neither one of them getting out of it.
I saw more as Negan trying to menace. Like he's like, I'll wait for these zombies to pass by. In the meantime, I got one of Rick's people so I can do something. And that's where I can agree with you, Daryl, as far as Gabriel maybe not being the right person here because I don't have. I mean, as much as I like Gabriel, I don't have much attachment to him. Like, so it's like this is like if Negan's, if Negan, his latest threat after the Gregory play of 2017, which we'll all really remember, if his next play is look, watch out, Rick, I got your preacher. It's like whatever. Like we were almost gonna kill him like 4 times before. So do what you want with him. Like it doesn't matter to me.
It always works like Carol or Michelle.
Yeah, exactly. It was someone that meant something. That'd be a different issue.
So
I'm not going to say Gabriel's character is probably marked for death this season, but I did see that Seth Gilliam is going to be signing autographs at a local convention here in Pittsburgh, and usually that doesn't happen unless they're dead from the show.
Oh, he did.
They added him onto the credits.
That definitely means he's dead. They had David Marcy on too, right? In the 4th season, he was on for what, the 2 bearded episodes? And that was right?
If he gets a flashback story or something, like if they do
or
some focus on him.
speech that he gives.
Yeah.
Remember when him and T-Dog used to drive those buses?
Oh, wait, so T-Dog was a member of his church? Oh, that's awesome. That's continuity right there, man.
He drove the orphanage kids too.
Yeah, he was such a good guy.
So T-Dog drove his bus. You blew my mind right there. That's retcon. That's retcon right there almost.
That's right.
It's all connected, Russ.
It's all connected, Russ. That's right. T-Dog. And he was on last night on The Talking Dead too.
He was?
Yeah, he was there. He was a game show host. He was giving away like...
Yeah, what else he gonna do?
He's wearing a sparkly blazer. He's out there giving away like props or whatever to audience members.
Hawking his album?
He wasn't hawking his album. Emily Kennedy was hawking her album. That was...
Oh man.
She was there hawking.
She's young and she needs to eat. So.
Yeah, she got
a sandwich. Yeah, she needs a sandwich. Judith runs up to a white bearded Rick in the kitchen. They walk to the porch and see people setting up a festival across the street. This is again a little future flash forward. Then we see lights dance on Rick's face again. That's what it says here. Rick concludes his speech to the unified community. So that's again the third flashback. He concludes his speech to the unified communities. He urges them to fight for tomorrow, assuring them they've already won. The crowd cheers and they're ready for battle, which just already happened.
Right. The flash forwards, it's so weird to talk about these. Like, it's like we don't really know what to make of them yet. The other thing is like it's shot with like a dream filter on it. It's like very like the saturation's really off base. The contrast is really purposely different. Like it's really weird what they're trying to pull. And I just obviously there's a greater plan at play, but it's like why make this choice? Like, you want to talk about ruining dramatic tension? If this is supposed to be a future, then we know Rick lives. We know a lot of people live from that perspective. Like, it's, like, what is this adding to the show? Like,
or it could be interpreted that's his ideal. That's what he's fighting for.
Yeah, that's the best way to look at it, I guess.
But would you imagine you being crippled too?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah,
that's
That's a good point.
no major deaths at all this episode, by the way.
No, not even minor ones, really. I mean,
No,
just
just
henchmen,
guards,
the guardmen, right?
guards, yeah.
That was really about it.
Seems like an opportunity you could have killed, Regina or something. It's like that happens.
Who is Regina? Is that a Rot? Is that the one? When did the girl Rot? Oh, she's dead. She got killed already. That's right.
Yeah, Michonne like shot her in the face.
Yeah, that's right, exactly. So, okay, so this is a newer Rot. All right, whatever. Anyway, before we get to our Buster ratings, a quick word from our sponsor. Russell, would you do the honors? You're back with us, man. Can you give us some love, DCB Service, or what?
Yeah, our sponsor for this episode of the Walking Dead TV podcast, as always, is DCB Service. That's Discount Comic Book Service, DCBService.com. It's getting towards the end of the month, so if you want to get your orders in, you still, by the time you hear this podcast, you'll have about, I would say, almost 2 weeks. They're really good about late orders, so if you're a few days past that November 1st deadline, don't sweat it. You can get it in. But they've been a sponsor for the show for a very long time. We've all been customers, I believe, at one point or another of not just DCBService.com, but InStockTrades.com, sister site, where if you order $50 or more worth of material, you get free shipping. And they pack their stuff way better than Amazon, so you're not going to get your hardcovers all dinged up and the corners all mashed. You'll get it packed nice and tight, and everything shows up in fantastic shape. Their customer service is second to none, so if you have any problems at all or questions or concerns, you can reach out to them, and they are awesome with getting back to you and getting your answers that you need. So yeah, check out DCBService.com. There are tons of Walking Dead stuff. The one good thing about Image and Robert Kirkman and The Walking Dead, if you're into the graphic novels, the trade paperbacks, the hardcovers, the compendiums, they never go out of print. They're constantly reprinting those, so you can always get them either at DCBService.com or InStockTrades.com if you want to get caught up, especially with the new season just kicking off. So we thank them for their support of the Walking Dead TV podcast.
Excellent. Thank you, Russ. Appreciate that. So let's get to our first Buster ratings of this new season 8. Let's see. Aaron, start with you, sir.
Last night I was at 3, there's stuff here that I think works well. I mean, I like a lot of the opening. It's like, take out the cross-cutting with the flashbacks back, like the cross-cutting of Rick and the gang setting up this plan they have to attack Negan. Like, all that stuff's really good. But it's just once they get to Negan and there's, 20 people all standing around with guns waiting to do something and they don't shoot Negan, the one thing they're planning to do, it's just, I don't get it. I don't understand beyond the fact that it's a TV show and they need to pad this out, you got to stage this differently. So it kept bothering me. So I'm at 2.5 Busters. Like,
You walked me back, huh? You walked me back.
Like, it's just like, there's so much good here. The potential's there. There's a little homages, like, there's a lot of nice stuff, but you're not doing this right. Like, if you can't figure out some of these basic issues.
All right. Daryl.
See, I came into it so happy. And
I want you to be happy.
You're the one, you just have to say what you said, right?
Yeah. I'm still happy about it. Like, I still love
Rick and Michonne
getting together. I still love getting together and all that. I mean, I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5. I still think it was a good episode, but I also get that it not much. If you really put it on paper, there really wasn't a lot that went down in this episode. I do think that they rushed to get Negan in this, and this is like the worst. This is the worst Negan episode ever for me so far. But the other stuff, like just them getting together and the preparing and the groups talking and all that kind of stuff and how they set that up, I still loved it. Like, it was a nice little reunion thing. I really didn't think of it as episode 100, though. It didn't even enter my mind that this was the 100th episode when I was watching it twice. Like, because it didn't feel like it. It wasn't a lot in it to make you feel like this is a 100th episode. Like, it just wasn't there for this. But it's just an episode of them coming back. They played on your enjoyment of the show already. Like, if you were new coming in, I don't know if you'd be that favorable about it. But for people that have been watching the show for all these 100 episodes, they play on it hard. Like, they really do. All the moments with Maggie to bring up the house and farm, and like, they really do the harps on you to really get you to be like, remember what this group has gone through, for all these episodes and stuff, and look at the swaggers back. Like, even the Daryl scene, having him, having his loner scene where he never misses shooting any of the targets as he's on his motorcycle. Like, it's all cool. And
you have to, man. Come on.
You got to give his moment. Like, he got his moment. Like, it was a cool thing, And Crazy Rick, crazy focused Rick was here. So all this stuff is here. So I'll stick with the 3 out of 5.
Well, you guys are still ahead of Brad Milo. Russ, how about you, Russ?
I'm probably the most generous. I'm going to give it 3.75. I just really enjoyed them sticking it to Negan, like to go and the way they planned it out, the way that they're kind of all gelling as a crew, as a team, as a family. They're all kind of finally past the being separate separate groups, but coming together, and then just the way that they outfitted the cars and they again the way they timed everything and moving the herd in. The biggest problems I have, which is the stuff that we've already talked about, is the flash forward, flashback stuff, which I think just kind of slowed things down a bit, and the stuff with Gabriel at the end. But I really like the just where it's going. I think this is going to set things up to where we're just going to see a lot of back and forth where. The Rick's crew are going to, they won this one, and I'm sure Negan's going to regroup and find the trash people, and they'll get together, and they'll probably, one up Rick's group, and, we're just going to see stuff actually happening instead of, just a lot of talk and, Rick crying and cowering in the corner. I like that he's taking charge and that these groups are going to start to, just face off with one another. So. If this plays like last year, then next week will be one of the best episodes of the show ever. So have that going for me.
Yeah.
That's what they met Ezekiel for the first time, which I think is a brilliant episode. So. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens next week in conjunction with this episode, because I don't put a whole lot like episode 100, episode 50, episode 2, whatever. Like, to me, it's just another episode. Yeah. I don't get too hung up on that. But depending on how that episode plays out, I'll be curious to see if maybe they wouldn't have done better making the premiere just like a double episode premiere. And especially if there's some balance to it. If it addresses some of the complaints that we've had about this episode, if they're either less prevalent in the next episode or there's some balance to what we saw, then I think maybe they should have just doubled up on the first week, but I guess we'll see. But then they couldn't have had a 2-hour Talking Dead episode, so
right, it's too late for them, right? Exactly.
It's weird, right? Like they got the 2-hour Walking Dead, they had like the specials beforehand, like which we need to talk about, by the way. Like they had like 5 hours of filler content around the premiere. And it's like I like that they're making an event out of it, like that's fun, and that gets fans excited and whatnot. Like I'm more than willing to be like super happy that everyone's excited about this, but it's just the delivery. It's like it does feel weird that it's just like an hour-long premiere that feels just like an episode that comes in kind of midway through the season. Like,
I think that's a good point. Is all the pomp and circumstance around it, and then it in relation to some real you compare this to the real high points of the series. This I wouldn't say this is top 10 or probably even top 15 episode of the series by any stretch. And so again, when you surround it with all that pomp and circumstance, it does kind of cast a different light on it. So
well, AMC's one's been popping up 100 thing. I don't think it's us. The 100th episode. The 100th episode.
It's mainly Craig. I mean that's really
that's true. That's right. You're right.
So yeah, I'm really curious to see what we see next week.
Jim Dietz.
Craig's just happy because now we go into syndication with the podcast. I get another 100.
I like that. Yeah, actually, 208.
I give it a 3 out of 5, and I'm being generous with that. You remember that scene in Austin Powers where Scott Evil's like, "Give me a gun, I'll kill him for you right now." He's like, "No, we need to leave him with the sharks and the freaking lasers." That's all I can think of during that scene with Negan. It's just like, just shoot him. He's right there. All his dudes are right there. Take him out. End of story. This was really. And you guys touched on a lot of the other problems with the episode. The flash forward dream sequence, whatever it was, parts totally didn't work for me at all. And I know, like I said, I know it's a reference to something from the comic, but it just didn't work for me in this movie at all for me. So I give it a 3 out of 5.
Well, I'm going to be the optimistic one, and I love the action, and I'm a sucker for it. So I'm going to give this a 4 out of 5 busters for me. Yes, the episode had problems. Yes, they overhyped the 100th episode. But some things they did right, and I kind of outlined a few of them. I mean, Carol is back; she's not so depressed anymore. Morgan is a Terminator now. I mean, these are good things. All right, Rick is crazy Rick, like you guys said, which I'm a sucker for that. All right, I want to see him just be crazy.
He's good Rick. He's
like well balanced,
yes, he's
angry, focused. I'm going to kill everybody kind of Rick, which I like that. That's exactly how I want my Rick, just like he is right now. So just keep it going. I do genuinely appreciate the action. I know they tease us with it sometimes. There was a lot that happened in here, a lot of strategy, battles. I mean, it was interesting. I thought it was a really good episode. I think it's a piece of a larger pie. Now that I heard Gimple, I'm like, yeah, okay, this is seems like act 1 of a 4-act play. I think is what they're kind of going for here this year. So they got a little artsy with it. We already went through all that part of it, so that's it. Something they could have done differently, I think, to make this a bigger episode 100, bring back some of the older characters, like bring back Bernthal for a flashback, or bring back Herschel for a flashback. I mean, they could have done some things to make it a little bit bigger. If they're going to do flashback stuff, they could have, like you said, a major death, but we've already been down that road before. I mean, they could have done something to make it more memorable as an episode 100. I mean, it's just kind of like, all right, we're just getting started here. The war's beginning. It's not exactly done yet. It has problems, but I'm respected for what it is. I'm happy we're here. I'm happy the gang is back together. Like Daryl said, everyone's where they're supposed to be right now, mentally, physically. They're all together. 4 busters for me. But who cares what we have to say? We have an amazing Facebook group. You can leave your very own Buster ratings for The Walking Dead, or Toby ratings for Fear the Walking Dead. You get to have them read by the one and only Jim Dietz. So quite a few this week, Jim. I hope you got your secrets there and a little bottle of water, because you have quite a bit of reading here ahead of you. But a lot of fan reactions. So Jim, would you have at it?
Yeah, I'm kind of out of practice after all this Fear the Walking Dead comment.
Yeah, you get easy, right?
Yeah, I was slacking. Dre Irvin was the first rated. 5 busters. I'm just so glad to have The Walking Dead proper back. # Screw Gregory. Susan Monk replied, GFY Gregory. No doubt. He's the guy we love to hate, right? Robert Nigro, 3 out of 5 eerie flash forwards. Is Rick just imagining he lives long into the future, or does he, quote, live actually? Please stop. No. Oh, my ribs have been tickled. No. Like, how many this doesn't take to the center of a Tootsie Pop the woman never know. Again, this must review about as much effort as it's put in this episode, that is to say, maddening that all those people with guns pointed at Negan didn't just shoot him. It'll get chilly eventually, and they'll want the resulting droughts and dampness. Oh wait, instead they wasted their ammo shooting out the sanctuary's windows. Because why? It'll get chilly eventually, and they'll want the resulting droughts and dampness to force the saviors to have to put on sweaters. How inconvenient for them. That will really teach them a lesson.
Yeah, they have a big furnace in there too. That will keep them warm.
Michelle and People's 4.5. Welcome back, badass Rick Grimes out of 5. Admittedly, it was a disjointed episode, and there were more than a few plot holes and convenient plot devices. But overall, it was a fun episode, and glad to see our heroes taking the fight to Negan. Cheryl Morse given 3 out of 5 biblical beards. Not impressed. Actually had to leave the room during the umpteen's rah-rah speech. And didn't Rick just want to kill Negan? A, he could have with a single shot from 40 feet away. And B, I'm pretty sure there are women children inside the sanctuary. Now zombie food. Yeah, it seems to be a recurring theme here. Mike Jones, 3 out of 5 Mad Max cars. It seemed way too easy for Team Rick to just roll right up to Negan's front door. The saviors were made to look like buffoons when obviously they were a force. I didn't get the lost like flash forwards either. Not the premiere I was hoping for. Susan Monk, 2.25 codependent abusive relationships with The Walking Dead out of 5. Ouch. Maybe I watched too many of the preseason specials and believed the hype they would make The Walking Dead great again. Nope. Even though they're starting the Walking Dead saviors, it all seemed to drag and disappoint me. I'm sorry it didn't work this time, but I will keep listening to the podcast. Well, thanks, Susan.
Thank you.
Chuck Ness 3, I have nothing clever to say here out of 5. August. Season premiere, 100th episode, kind of expecting a little better here. Didn't hate it by the end. I was like, that's it. The episode felt incomplete. I'm a reader of the comics, hoping those lost style flash forwards were just dreams and not actual flash forwards. If they are, they're giving too much away. Brad Mott, Milio.
I'm still confused on his first name. Is it Braid?
Braid. I don't know.
Braid?
It's very.
He's from Texas, so you just
who knows?
You never know.
Maybe you can spell it bigger next time.
Brad, you're welcome to come on and defend yourself, Brad. Okay, just saying.
Hey, I agree with him about the episode.
Brad gives it 2 busters. I don't care for the episodes that try to be clever.
And that's where you off.
Brad Milo thing I've ever heard. Brad
that
Milo
is the most, exactly. That's what I thought too. That's the most Brad Milo thing you could have possibly said.
It's like I saw that like 4 hours before I watched the show. And I'm like, oh, we'll see about this. I was like, get the better. And he's like, no, he's exactly right.
You shook your fist at the sky. Crush Milo!
I got my own podcast to record, but after that, we'll see about this, Milo.
I'll get you next time, Milo.
And I screamed and walked out of the room.
Eric Cherknucky, I wrote in at 3.5. I'm being generous, busters out of 5. I was entertained by the zombie action, but I wasn't terribly impressed by anything else. Last season's finale, in my opinion, handled flashback streams pretty well. This one, not so much. As always, Morgan is great. I love Jerry and the overall battle plan. But if I hear one more speech about working together, I'm going to snack some on with some stale Twizzlers. P.S. Happy belated birthday, Jim. Oh, thanks, Mary. That's very nice. Michael San... Well, thanks. They brought me an episode of Walking Dead for my birthday. It was thankful. Michael Santana, 3 underwhelming season premieres out of 5. Nice to have the show back, but it just felt like it needed more. Love the podcast and the effort you guys put into it. Well, thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Roger Austin, 4. This may be the last time we see each other. Hugs out of 5. I love how Rick and company went in action with a pretty well thought out plan and how Negan's confidence level dropped as the conversation went on. Lots of great tension. Looking forward to the various skirmishes until the big battle at the end of the season. Adam Fatah, I will give it 3 out of 5 T-Dogs.
T-Dog!
Shout out for T-Dog. It was underwhelming for season premiere on 100th milestone episode. Why is Gregory still alive? I thought that Negan or Simon would have killed him. Tambono, 3 out of 5 Santa Ricks. I've been confused over the episode. Why are they wasting so much ammo? Why doesn't Maggie have a baby bump? Though there was a lot of action, so many questions leave me feeling unsatisfied. Ian Roswell, 4 dead Negan lookouts out of 5. Whilst this is by no means the best opener of Walking Dead season, it was still thoroughly enjoyable. Maybe one of too many speeches, and the people are right. Just shoot Negan. As a fan of the comic, I'm enjoying the show's symmetry with it. Rob Cook, 4 pairs of pants out of 5. I was expecting an evening of entertainment. Savage as a Metallica gig I went to on Sunday night, and I wasn't disappointed. The characters in action are so much better than in Fear. Well, if you're just comparing it to Fear, man, that's not fair.
Yes.
These guys are superheroes compared to the West Coast cousins. So who thinks Negan and Gabriel are the next bromance? Nagriel or Gibbon, perhaps?
Oh, God.
I think I might overthought that a little bit, dude. Richard Chopper, Cherryston. Yeah, either way, it didn't work out. 4.5, you can tell the parent show is back when your Buster rating is this far down the page.
So true.
Love the episode. I'm just so glad it's back now. Some improvement on Fear, although it fell our summer. Looking forward to seeing where all out warheads do. Can't wait till next week. Jason Cluid, 3. Damn it, is Carl really going to survive this out of 5? Just like the flash forward dream sequence, whatever it turns out to be nonsense, but enjoyed the return of Badass Rick and the team up of Carol, Daryl, Morgan, and Tara. I agree with most of the others. There's too much of an opportunity working company to shoot Negan, and Gregory is so much fun to hate. Christine Bowman, 3 out of 5 Busters. If I'm rating against other season premieres, 4 out of 5 is a regular episode. I'm wondering if the showrunners made an even bigger mistake with how much of a downer last season was than they realized. Also, do you think it's possible that Rick may die this season? He kept saying this isn't about me, and Michonne is telling Carl that protecting Alexandra is his show now. Are we gearing up for Carl to become the new group leader? Sorry this was so long. Brent Jones, 3 Daryl Play crossbow competitions out of 5. For all the hype, it just missed the mark. They stay too true to the comics when they do stuff like have Negan walk out and give a speech, when in reality Rick would have ended him then. The show is at its best, in my opinion, when it attempts to stay realistic. I know this is a zombie show based on a comic with a goddamn tiger, but the stuff still needs to make some sense.
Well put.
And if you would like to join our Facebook group, we'd love to have you. The Walking Dead TV podcast is the name of it. It's on the Facebook, which is very popular with the young people. You can also link to Aaron Newworth's reviews of each episode of The Walking Dead at WeLiveEntertainment.com. He writes them every week. He goes a little more in depth than he even does on the podcast, and it's lots of each episode, so check that out as well. Oh, and he also reviewed or did you also review Red? Oh, no, I don't see it.
You can link to it, right?
I'll link to Red Machete, but not a review.
Thanks for mentioning the review, though, because I am writing for a news site, We Live Entertainment, as you mentioned, and it was a nice change. I was always happy with the young folks, but it's a nice new outlet to put my written reviews through, and it's very easy to read. I'm liking the format so far, as far as checking it on mobile and stuff. It's nice.
Yeah, excellent. Well, Jim, thank you as always for reading the Buster ratings. Again, if you want to be a part of the fun, please join the Facebook page. It is so simple. Just go to facebook.com, do a search for The Walking Dead TV podcast, hit join group. We get you in very quickly, and you can leave your very own Buster ratings for The Walking Dead. And if you choose to torture yourself, the Toby ratings for Fear the Walking Dead. Although we have very high hopes for that show as well. So thanks, Jim, as always. All right, guys. Any final thoughts on the first episode of season 8? You feeling good? Feeling not so good? Don't know.
I don't know. I'm worried now.
You worried now? You worried? You worried?
I may be the most vocal about how I didn't really like this episode, but I would say I am excited to see where things go. Like, as much as I'm not always great on appreciating the setup, but it's like, it's a season premiere, it's a lot of setup, but it's got to look something, right? So if
I didn't mention, this episode was directed by Greg Nicotero, written by Scott Kimball. Next week's episode is called The Damned, and we'll see where this takes us. All right, guys. If nothing else, we can just wrap it up.
Well, did you guys watch the Talking Dead at all? Like all the any of them?
Yeah, it's 2 hours. I slept through it. I mean, I usually don't, but they brought a lot of old characters back, and it was pretty cool. I enjoyed it.
Oh, can I shout one thing out real quick?
Yeah.
If you're in the New York area, when this airs on Tuesday, the 24th, you can, if you're around Manhattan, you can join me. I'm a guest on the Comic Book Club podcast, which is on the Nerdist network, actually.
Wow.
It's located at the Pit Loft, and it's at 154th West 29th Street. So you can come down and see me on stage talking about I don't know what.
And rapping?
Well, I got to rap. I mean, that's part of it. I mean, that's the deal. But
are you gonna pop and lock it like you did in House Party 3?
I might, but it's been a while. You know.
Don't hurt yourself, man.
I don't want to throw out my hip or anything. But I'll be doing some tricks or something. But join me. It starts at 8. It's over at 9. I mean, it's a fun time. It's at a bar, so you can drink and watch me on stage. So I'll probably be drinking while I'm on stage as well.
Sounds like fun. If you need a protection or anything, let me know. If you need bodyguard or something, let me know.
Yeah, come on down, man. I did send you a thing.
I got you. Yeah, I'll be right. I work just over the bridge, so we'll see if I can make it done tomorrow.
Cool.
Yeah, definitely, man. Sounds like fun. All right, guys. Let's good having you back, Russ. So we can definitely wrap it up here and tell everyone what you've been up to. So Aaron, start with you. Where else can our listeners see you and read your reviews, all that kind of stuff?
Well, as Jim mentioned, I'm writing my Walking Dead reviews over at We Live Entertainment. You can also find some of my film reviews over there. I co-host a podcast with my friend Abe, Out Now with Aaron and Abe, where we talk about the new releases. But in October, we also do these special horror bonus episodes, which has been a lot of fun. I mentioned this the week before that we recently did a episode focused on Tobe Hooper and George A. Romero, two great horror directors that passed away this year. George A. Romero in particular. There would be no Walking Dead without George A. Romero. So if you want to listen to us talk about all of his films and his filmography and his influence on directors from years to come after that, that's a fun episode to listen to. It's on iTunes and everywhere else you can find our show. And yeah, what else? We talked about Geostorm this week as far as our main episodes.
Oh, yeah.
A friend of mine used to drive a Geostorm.
That's a good one. I like that one, Jim. That's all right, man.
And
hard joke for you, Craig.
I know. I'll take it, man.
I see what you did there.
Three-cylinder monster, man. That was a good one. Yeah, you're right.
Ah.
actually, Jim, you're going to be on our last horror episode of the month. We're going to talk about horror remakes this week. So that should be a fun one too. And yeah.
Excellent. I'm sorry, Daryl.
You can catch me on Twitter at TheVoice123, and you can check me out on other podcasts on my own network, Taylor Network, at taylornetworkandpodcast.com. You can also check me out on other podcasts such as DCTE, and It's All Connected when we record, and Retro Movie Geek, which you can find as well.
We can catch you outside tomorrow. How about that?
You can catch me outside.
In New York City. How about that?
Well, it'll be raining, so I might not catch you outside.
Russell, how about you, sir?
You can catch me right here, hwled.com, when we do It's All Connected every so often. We've actually, for a variety of reasons, we've been kind of off for a couple months, but I think we're going to record an episode this week. I think we're just going to pull together whoever can record, because we need to catch up on the Defenders and Inhumans.
I'm sorry. I didn't hear that. What was that?
Yeah,
Series you mentioned?
I'm sorry.
Listen,
Is that one of those shows on CBS Access?
We got through Fear. You can get through here.
Yeah, we can do it. It's not that many episodes.
Yeah.
There's a Thor movie coming. You can talk about
that'll be coming up. Yeah, we'll definitely have an episode on Thor, and then Runaways is about to start, and the Punisher is coming. So yeah, I think we're kind of poised to be back at it after an unexpected hiatus. So check that out, and then check me out on Gotham by Geeks with Mr. Taylor, which is a lot of fun.
That's right.
I enjoy doing that. Me and Mike Myers and Chris Campbell and Mr. Taylor is a lot of fun.
Excellent. Thank you, Jim.
The same place you found this podcast, you can find the DC TV podcast. We cover all the shows except for Lucifer now, which we explained in the last episode, that are from DC Comics properties. That's The Flash, Supergirl, Arrow, Legends of Tomorrow, and Gotham. Also, you can, at the Taylor Network podcast, you can catch me and Daryl and Donnie Salvo on our weekly Nothing's On podcast. We talk more generally about TV and movies. We just dropped a new episode of that. And you can check out our newest experiment, Heavy Gigs in Seaside City. It's a role-playing game set in the 70s of action movies and TV shows. We turn it into a radio play. We put in music, sound effects, all kinds of fun stuff, radio, add fake ad drop-ins, things like that. So check that out. It's also available at TaylorNetworkPodcast.com.
Excellent. And if you want to hear me when I'm not talking about zombies, I'm the host of the Auto Chat Show, autochatshow.com, facebook.com/AutoChatShow. Me and my co-host Teddy and various guests review new cars, cars, pop culture, anything automotive related we definitely bring to the forefront. We just actually got done with a huge press event last week in upstate New York, so we'll be covering that on the next episode. Some just amazing cars we got to drive and some of the new hotness coming down the pike from the auto manufacturers. Spoiler alert, AMG was there, and actually the new Alfa Romeo was there too, so some really cool stuff coming from Germany, Italy, and of course some of the British cars. So if you want to hear about some of the new supercars, actually Teddy got to drive the NSX, the new Acura NSX. That was a real treat for him. I got to take a picture of him as he was driving off in it. That was about it. But he's friends with the Honda guy, so that's fine. I'm not hating really or anything, but he got to drive the NSX. If you want to hear about that, check us out on the Auto Chat Show. You'll have fun, believe me. All right, folks, who wants to close out tonight?
So until there's no more Room in Hell and Dead Walking Earth, remember, Good Walking Dead is over for now.
I can get behind that.